Yes, y'all! Coming to you from the spiritual home of the Republican Party, it is DCTF Live. My name is Greg Tepper, managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sitting here. Sitting there is Max Thompson. Hi, Max.
Hello, Greg.
How are things going?
I'm in England.
Oh, that's how we're going to play this? So here is the God's honest truth of it. All right? So I'm going to tell you what's going on, and then I'm going to hold up the Men in Black thing.
Oh, yeah,
and then you're going to forget everything. So we are recording a bunch of episodes en masse because Max is going to be gone in England. England. You're also going to Ireland?
London, England. Yes, Ireland and Scotland.
That'll be very fun. So Max is going to be gone for almost 2 weeks, and so we are recording a bunch of episodes so that you guys have hashtag content while he's gone. So that's what's going on. We're recording this well before he leaves on his trip. So there's that. So now,
right.
It is Tuesday, March 29th, 2016, episode 103. 103, the number of doubles that Frank Catalanato had as a Texas Ranger.
Wow,
Frank Catalanato. Dude, that is an underappreciated, very solid Texas Ranger. Dude, 818 career OPS as a Ranger. You can do a lot worse than Frank Catalanato.
I thought you were going to say how great his batting stance was.
Also,
which
that
was great.
Everything about Frank's good. Everything about Frank Catalanato is very good. I don't really know what to do. This is weird. Are you excited to be in England?
Boy.
Is it cold over there?
It's cold and rainy. I'll tell you what. I spent a good 8 hours on that flight working on my capsules for the summer magazine.
We are hard at work on the 2016 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And I've done this this is your first summer magazine.
Yes. As an editor. I've contributed to many.
Yeah, timeout. Hi. On today's episode, we're going to be doing a Texas football spring preview. So Texas Longhorns fans, make sure you tune in, stay tuned past this asinine conversation, and then we'll get into some Longhorn football. For me, whenever once a year we go and we start writing high school football capsules for the magazine, we contract out a number of other writers do stuff, and they do a fantastic job. But we also do our share. And for you, have you ever written capsules before?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. For me, this is the sixth magazine. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This is the 16th or the sixth magazine that I've done this. Mm-hmm. And when I get back into writing capsules, it's like meeting an old friend again. Honestly, it's such a, and you know how I am about data, and yes. all writing capsules is taking a lot of data and just kind of formulating it into the right way and figuring out, who's going to be important and talking to coaches and making sure we accurately reflect what the team is going to look like. But I've done so many of them now in my life.
Yes.
I would say I have probably written like 1,000 high school football capsules in my life.
That's probably a conservative estimate.
Yeah, at least 1,000. It's just like going home again. Just like, man, here we are. Let's go. Pound it out. But it's something that I take very seriously because we do preview every high school team in the state, and let's be real about it. There is a fair chance that this is the only good thing written about a lot of these teams. Mm-hmm. This is the only time that somebody's going to do their due diligence on a team.
Yes.
Maybe because the team isn't going to be very good, or maybe because the team is just good, it might struggle, or this or that. Mm-hmm. We tend to gravitate towards teams that do well. And so that's something I always take this very seriously. And even when I'm writing a capsule, I'm like, you know what? There are people who are going to be reading this, and this is the most important thing that they will read in this magazine.
That's a good mentality.
I take it very, very personally.
That's the right way to do it.
It is. I will admit when we get to the point where we're like editing pages and reading pages, you will start to dream about capsules. Because I do. For about 2 weeks, you will dream about nothing but this magazine. It's really pretty remarkable.
I worked on capsules all weekend, and then last night I dreamt that my brother played for the Royals.
Awesome.
So we're not there yet. We
are DCTF Live. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We have a website. Max.
Greg.
It's our spring tour.
Yes.
Right? We're going to call it the DCTF Live Spring Tour. And we're going through and giving a spring football preview for each of the 12 FBS teams in the state.
Yeah.
We've got a big schedule planned that we're going to have we're going to cover all 12 of the FBS teams in the state. We're going to start today on Tuesday, March 29th, as I look at my notes.
Right.
With the Texas Longhorns. The Texas Longhorns, and we will start with this is the wrong rundown. We will start
when we last saw them.
Where we last saw them. And where we last saw them was not great, Bob. Well,
I don't know.
Well, on one hand,
right.
There was no more weird team.
It's a weird team.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Oh man, this show's going great. There's no weirder team than Texas because on one hand they went 5-7.
Yeah.
Abject failure, right? For Texas, going 5-7
unacceptable.
Is unacceptable.
Yeah.
On the other hand, they beat Oklahoma, who played in the college football playoff, and they beat Baylor at Baylor.
Yeah.
So they have arguably two of the best wins in the nation.
Yeah.
And yet they go 5-7. So that's the last time we saw them. It was an odd situation. Texas was, and I don't know if anybody
got shut out by Iowa State too.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. They got shut out by Iowa State.
Just had to throw that one in there.
They got shut out by Iowa State. So as we look forward to spring football, their spring game, which will be televised on Longhorn Network, is Saturday, April 16th. April 16th is the spring game.
Celebrate Tax Day with the Longhorns.
Yeah. Actually, Tax Day, your taxes are not due until the 18th this year for two reasons. One, one leap year, so you get an extra day, and two, apparently the Monday it was good, so it's not going to be that Friday. They're going to skip ahead to that Monday. That Monday is apparently a holiday in Washington D.C. Oh. It's when the slaves were freed in Washington D.C. They take that day off. It's a federal holiday in Washington D.C. So I learned something from my accountant friend the other day.
A bonus for the rest of us, slackers, procrastinators.
April 16th. Yeah. But there have been some big picture changes for Texas.
Oh yeah.
Particularly, you got a new offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Who could forget the saga of flying back and forth between Tulsa?
Yes.
And Austin.
Sterling Gilbert
is
the new offensive coordinator of the Texas Longhorns, also the new quarterbacks coach. Yeah. He will be taking over an offense that, is in need of a jolt.
Yeah.
It's in need of a jolt, but Sterling Gilbert is the new offensive coordinator. He's in charge of things over there. And then there was, of course, a lot of off-the-field stuff surrounding Charlie Strong. He avoided getting subpoenaed or having to testify, rather. He did get subpoenaed.
Right.
But he avoided having to testify in a very bizarre situation of a divorce case for a booster up at Louisville.
Yeah.
That could have exposed some very problematic things for Charlie Strong. The other thing is that he kind of got a vote of confidence from his bosses. He got a vote of confidence from the athletic director and the powers that be at Texas that said there was no real magic number that he had to win to keep his job. Now, let's be real about something. If he goes 0-12, he's getting fired.
Right.
If he goes 4-8, he's getting fired. I think if he goes 5-7, he's getting fired.
Yeah, I mean, you'd sit here and think it has to be 6 or better, right?
Right.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what they're thinking as far as expectations. Obviously, that's why I was asked and all that. But if it's me. If they aren't 6-6 or better, and like 6-6, and I'm like, okay, this is all starting to make sense.
Moving forward, right?
That's probably it.
Right.
I
think you're right. So let's take a look at the offense,
okay.
Max, shall we? We'll take a look at the offense, the Texas offense under new offensive coordinator Sterling Gilbert. What does he have back? Well, he's got 7 starters back. Nice place to start. But they're losing some key pieces. They're losing Jonathan Gray, who sadly then went and blew his Achilles out in a workout as he's preparing to go to the NFL, which, man, if that guy didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. That is it's a terrible situation. Dajay Johnson is gone.
Yeah.
Dajay Johnson was kind of the X factor. He was the guy they tried to get in interesting ways, kind of an H-back type.
And also, like, a lot of unfulfilled potential there. Like, it didn't really actually pan out the way they wanted it to.
And they're losing 3 of the 5 offensive linemen, including Cedric Flowers at the guard spot and Taylor Doyle, the center. But it's not all bad, because they got some strong pieces coming back, including the quarterbacks. We'll get to them in a moment. They bring back Kent Perkins. They bring back, I think, their 2 best offensive linemen, Kent Perkins and Connor Williams. I thought Connor Williams was really, really solid as a freshman left tackle. I thought that a guy who stepped in and played pretty well at the left tackle spot, bringing him back, I think, to have that cohesiveness is very important. They also bring back guys like Armani Foreman and John Burt at the wide receiver spots. They've got weapons out there. You know, they've got some key pieces back that I think are going to serve them well moving forward. Now, what everybody wants to know about spring football is
quarterback.
What are the big position battles? And honestly, there's only one position battle that matters, right?
Yep.
At Texas.
Yep.
And it's been the position battle ever since Colt McCoy left.
Yeah.
It's who's going to be the quarterback.
And if you watch any of the beat writers' Twitter feeds, it's the only thing anyone ever asks them about.
Yeah.
It's, hey, let's talk about the quarterbacks. Who's the quarterback? Does this guy look good? Is he going to be the savior? Is the new guy going to be the savior? Is the old guy going to get it together?
Basically, you've got options there. Whether or not you believe they're good options depends on what you think. But Gerard Hurd is back. Tyrone Swoops is back. They're also bringing in Shane Buechele. If you think they're going to start a true freshman quarterback, then you've got a guy in Shane Buechele who could maybe step in.
And I'm also pretty sure Kyle Loxley's there somewhere.
Kyle Loxley is allegedly still there.
Yeah.
So you've got this kind of wide open race. But for me, in kind of reading the tea leaves and talking to people around the program, and I know that Texas fans don't want to hear it, but do you know who is probably going to be the standout guy of the quarterbacks in the spring?
If I'm reading the same things as you, it's going to be Swoops.
It's Tyrone Swoops.
Yeah.
And I know that Texas fans are tired of him. I understand that because he hasn't lived up to his potential. And I understand that. I get it. Right. But at the same time, those coaches are going to look at these guys and say, who gives us the best chance to win? And it may, in fact, be Tyrone Swoops.
In a strange way, I almost wonder, though, if, and granted, I'm not a Texas fan, so I don't know, but did Swoops' cameos last year, where he came through in some huge moments for the team, did that buy him any goodwill with this group, or are they simply just, no, this guy isn't going to be the answer? I don't know.
I don't know. I think that you can shape an offense around Tyrone Swoops, but you have to take into account his skill set.
Yeah.
If you're looking, there are other position battles out there offensively. Like along the offensive line, there's a couple of position battles. Right. Who's going to be the number 1 wide receiver? I think it's going to be Armani Foreman, but John Burt could have something to say about it. Right. For me, if you're looking for a sleeper, if you're looking for a guy who's going to come in and be that guy on the offense that nobody's talking about, I think it's Kyle Porter.
Really?
The freshman running back out of Katy. I think that they are looking for – I think that we have seen Charlie Strong not be afraid to put in young running backs. And here's Kyle Porter, who is a monster coming out of Katy High School and is a guy who is very durable and a guy who can carry the load and may be ready to shine off the top. I think Kyle Porter's a sleeper. If you're looking for a guy to pay attention to if you're looking for a guy to pay attention to in spring ball, see how he performs.
Interesting.
I would keep an eye on Kyle Porter.
See, a lot of the guys that have been at the practices so far are saying Colin Johnson, the JUCO transfer at receiver, is the guy that looks the part. Now, who knows how he'll actually play? But physically, he stands out as a guy that is ready to play right now and is physically imposing at the wide receiver position.
And they could certainly use a guy like that, a big physical wide receiver. So then let's shift over to the defense. Okay, the defense, which at times last year. First of all, I don't think there's any doubt that it was the better unit of the offensive defense.
No.
It was definitely the best, the better unit. At times, it was tremendous. Yeah. At times, it was average. But
Iowa State,
right. At times, it was average. 7 starters back defensively. They're losing some key pieces. They're losing especially along the defensive front. They're losing Hassan Ridgeway, who jumped early to the NFL. They're losing Desmond Jackson, the nose tackle. Duke Thomas, who was, I think, their best member of the secondary last year, is gone, the cornerback. Now, they bring back some big guys, specifically in the middle. Okay, the whole linebacker core is pretty much back. Malik Jefferson's back. Anthony Wheeler's back. Tim Cole's back. They bring back a great core of defense a defensive guys in the middle of that defense, which if you go and talk to Charlie Strong, he'd be like, yeah, okay, we can work with that. We'll work around that. If we have strength in our linebackers like they have, that is an important spot that can get exposed in a hurry. Just go ask Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Texas A&M, who's still looking for that big-time impact linebacker.
Yeah.
So what about position battles? What are the position battles we want to watch out for here? I think this is going to sound kind of crazy because they bring back guys there. I think it's at safety, and I'll tell you why. So they bring back Dylan Haynes and Jason Hall at the safety position, and they were fine. At times they were good, but overall they were fine.
Yeah.
But go look at this recruiting class. And go look at the guys they're bringing in.
They're salty.
Brandon Jones is coming in, who is maybe the real gem of this entire class out of Nacogdoches. Yeah. Does he force the issue and force his way into the lineup? I think that is a guy that you need to watch out for. Can somebody vault these guys? Right. Can somebody vault the incumbents? Is what I'm saying. So. That's something definitely to watch. If you're looking for a sleeper, I think that the best place to see a sleeper would be along the defensive line.
Yeah, probably.
Because that is a position where you can make an impact in a hurry, where being your physical strength can make up for maybe you don't have quite the development yet. Yeah. And so I look at Jordan Elliott at Houston West Side.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
I think that's a guy who can make an impact in a hurry for this team. Yeah. A guy who could come in and start right away, or at least see significant playing time. I'd be very interested in watching Jordan Elliott while we are in spring football, across, in Austin. I think that is a guy who they're missing some pieces up front. They're missing, losing guys like Ridgeway and Jackson. They need some help in that front, in that defensive front. I think that Jordan Elliott could be that guy. So. That brings us to what to watch for. I mean, we kind of ran through it, but overall, how does the offense look under Sterling Gilbert? Yeah. Does it look like it has a spark? Does it look like it has a direction? Because sometimes this offense has looked just directionless. Yeah. Do they have a scheme and something that they are an identity? You know what I mean? Because that's kind of the biggest thing.
If I'm a Texas fan, I'm watching the spring game and I'm going, I'm waiting to be completely blown away by the offense. I watched the game and I can't believe these are the same players plus a few more, right? That's what I want as a Texas fan. Like, oh yes, this guy was worth all the chasing around we did, and yes, he can make the group that we had last year look even better than they actually are. So that's what I'm watching for. I'm sure that's what the fans are watching for. For you and me, we're probably going to be sitting there and going, can we see some incremental differences? Yeah. Does Swoops look like he's making a few different decisions? Do certain guys stand out in single plays and different kinds of coverages, those sorts of things?
Does the offensive line come around? How does the offensive line gel? Yeah. You're going to need to fill a center, a guard, and tackle. You're going to need some guys there. How do they fill in? The other part of it is does the defense live up to the hype? Does the defense – last year that defense was so young, and all you were hearing was, okay, this defense is pretty good, and they're really young. Just think about them next year or the year after that. Well, here's next year. This is an opportunity for this defense to really say, we are the strength of this team, and we can guide it back to – where it once was, to the prominence that Texas fans and then Texas program really demands. Yeah. So the big question right now, and obviously this is all subject to change.
So early. And we'll do another one of these previews when the season gets here. And we actually know what we're working with.
Exactly. Do you right now, sitting here, and I'll ask you first.
Oh, God.
Do you think Texas will be better or worse in 2016?
I think they'll be better.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Do I have to elaborate?
No,
okay.
No,
you
fine.
Don't. That's all I'm saying then.
I think they'll be better too.
Okay.
I think that another year of seasoning on that defense, and they've got pieces coming in that can really shore up anywhere that they lost. I think that's going to be big for them. I think the offense will be better, but maybe not good, if that makes sense. Right now, that's what I would pick. Unless you can have a real breakout performance from a guy like Chris Warren or any of these running backs. Yeah. I think that this is a team that last year they took some lumps. I think that not only because of that, but also because Charlie Strong needs to be better. I think desperation breeds a little bit of urgency, if you will.
Yeah, but you also wonder in those situations if it makes people's judgment a little cloudier, and maybe they force the issue when they should just trust the process.
Maybe. That's entirely possible. But I think right now on, March 29th, I think they'll be better in 2016. How much better remains to be seen. Who steps up in spring practice? Who really shows those improvements?
We'll get into this more as the season goes on. We'll talk about this more in these previews, but I'm curious from your perspective, do you look at the rest of the Big 12 and how they project for the next year and see any benefit for Texas, or maybe no benefit? I don't know.
A little bit, but because I think the Big 12 will be slightly down compared to last year.
It seems like it should be, right?
A little bit down, but not significantly.
Right.
They'll have to earn it because I still think OU is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I still think TCU and Baylor are going to be there.
Yeah.
I still think Oklahoma State, they lose a lot, but I think that they've got a chance to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Kansas State ain't going to stay down for too long. I think that this is a Tech. We'll get to that. I'm bullish on Tech.
Yeah.
So. It may take a step back, but it won't necessarily be, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy for Texas to get back into that upper echelon. So, yeah, that's about it. Well, that's going to do it for us for today. Thank you for tuning in, spending your part of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter, DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Tomorrow, we preview the Baylor Bears spring practice here on DCTF Live. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy, and we will see you tomorrow on DCTF Live.